Hey, teens!
Do you ever wish that you could listen to some of your favorite tunes from your favorite show, Nerdstrodamus?
Can do!
That's right, Lambo! Now you can with the Nerdstrodamus official soundtrack. Listen to some of your favorites, such as Nerdstrodamus intro music, and Nerdstrodamus outro music, and many more.
No cash on delivery, shipping and handling is $3.50.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Nerdstrodamus. I'm the Pants Doctor.
And I'm the Bow Lamb.
It doesn't work with your name.
I know. Oh, wow. Yeah, that hurts. Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's okay.
Continue.
But anyway, we're here today with another episode, and we're talking about video game soundtracks.
Video game soundtracks. All that sound that comes out of the machine.
Well, not all the sound, because there's sound effects also.
Yeah, but in some cases, they're one and the same.
It's true. It's true. But we're talking about soundtracks because they're a huge part of the game.
Yeah, and honestly, music's one of the things that makes it totally immersive. You can totally get into a game, and sometimes that music is just bored into your soul. You don't even know you know it. You don't even know you can hum along until somebody asks you.
Plus, it just sets the mood.
Yeah.
Depending on what's going on in the game, such as a boss fight, or maybe you're just strolling along a nice grassy field. So lately, we've been doing this kind of like nice little quiz thing between Lambo and I, and today is no different. We're going to be playing clips from video game soundtracks to see if each other can guess what game they're from.
Indeed. We have to limit it to less than 30 seconds so we can meet the standards of fair use.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to play, I guess maybe you'll play me the first one, I guess.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll play one. This is a little bit of a gimme, but it's got a storied history.
All right.
Yeah. We'll see how this goes. The first track to play is...
Is it Earthbound?
No.
No? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Nope.
I know this game, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Oh, you know this game.
Oh, no.
This game's all over your face.
Oh, no. Oh, I feel really dumb because I know it.
I know you know it.
I know this music.
Should I give you a hint?
Give me a hint.
It has a creepypasta associated with it.
It's not Majora's Mask, is it?
No.
No. What's the creep? Oh. It's Lavender Town.
It's Lavender Town.
It does sound like something from Earthbound.
Oh, I agree. No, definitely. It's got that kind of weird, creepy, sparse, dissonant thing going on there.
Yeah.
And the music, like I said, has a storied history. It's got this, theories behind it that possibly made people sick, maybe possibly killed people.
So the first one I'm going to play for you is also a gimme that you should know right away.
Okay.
So you ready for this?
Yes.
Come on, you know this. So
it's the best. I almost gave you this one too, actually. It's the menu music from Perfect Dark.
It absolutely is the menu music.
Because you know why? Because we've sat there listening to it for so many hours making our own Perfect Dark games.
It's true. It's true. For those who haven't played Perfect Dark, it is the spiritual successor to GoldenEye on the N64, where you could design your own multiplayer games. It was beautiful.
I'll give you one more gimme.
Okay.
Just because this one is the coolest song ever. Hopefully there's no ad. There we go. It's the coolest song ever.
It's from Mega Man 2.
Do you know which level?
Metal Man.
It's the Wily stage.
Is it the Wily stage?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I had a hard time finding it, actually, because I know it's Mega Man 2, and I figured it was Flash Man or Metal Man.
Yeah, I thought it was Metal Man 2. Metal Man or Quick Man, but then again. But still, it's Mega Man 2. I know that.
It's classic.
It is.
It almost sounds like an Iron Maiden tune. So good.
Okay, so this next one is one that you may know. I had to remove the lyrics.
Okay. Oh no! I almost gave you this one too.
I had a little trouble finding one without lyrics because if you do lyrics, it gives it away.
Yeah, of course.
So what is it?
It's Pumpkin Hill.
Pumpkin Hill.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
That's a sweet jam, actually.
That is a sweet jam. All right, it's time to give you something a little harder.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you'll know this or not. You better, actually.
Okay. I think it's the overworld music from Plock.
It's not the overworld music from Plock.
It's not?
No.
The overworld music from Plock sounds really similar.
I have no idea. I don't remember Plock that well.
You're gonna have to help me.
Actually, the reason I picked this is because how often you talk about it on the show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Is it Illusion of Gaia?
It is Illusion of Gaia! That's the only reason I picked it.
See, the only... I have to then reveal something. I rarely play video games with the sound on when I was a kid. I just didn't. So the fact that I know any video game music is actually a miracle.
It's true.
There you go.
This is from GoldenEye, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Excellent. Yeah. The very, very first level is the damn level music.
Okay. I was like, it's early in the game. I just couldn't remember exactly where.
Yeah, excellent.
All right.
That's awesome.
Let's see. You can do this one for me. I know you've played it. But this is going back, so it's maybe one of those games that you didn't play with the sound on.
It might be.
Might be.
It's creepy.
It is creepy. The game itself is a little creepy, but it is a classic from the Super Nintendo.
You're gonna have to help me, man.
Sci-fi game. Big classic from the Super Nintendo.
Is it Super Metroid?
It is Super Metroid! Yeah, that's the title screen music for Super Metroid.
That's creepy.
Yeah, I know, right? The
Wow.
whole game's a little creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, do you ever get to the ghost ship part of that game?
No.
Oh yeah, the ghost ship part sucks. It's from an RPG, right?
Yeah.
Is it from something from the Super Nintendo era?
Original.
Oh, originally. I'm gonna take a guess and say that it's Final Fantasy VI.
4.
4!
Oh,
Oh!
it's close enough. It's the airship theme.
I was gonna say, it's an airship theme, you're flying around.
It's awesome. That's actually some of my favorite music ever in a Final Fantasy game. This is a cheat.
This is a cheat?
This is a cheat.
Why is it a
It's
cheat?
gonna prompt a discussion left for later.
Okay, it's... So... I know what this is.
Yeah.
This is the fight against CULEX
Oh
of
my
Super
God,
Mario
I got
RPG!
it! All right, awesome. So awesome. So what that actually is it's the Final Fantasy IV theme played with the Super Mario RPG sound font.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Because I originally...
that plays during the CULEX battle.
I originally sat there and thought, I'm like, this is a Final Fantasy song, and I'm like, no.
It is a Final Fantasy song.
It is, but
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not that easy.
But you can hear it sounds like a Mario.
It does,
Theme,
it
so
does.
that's awesome. Yeah.
I apologize for the next
That's
one.
okay. I can't wait. Oh no! What is it?
I picked
I have this dilemma. So one of the reasons I think the Mandela effect might be real. But I gotta go with what I know. It's gotta be Big Blue. Okay, good.
It's totally Big Blue from F-Zero. So the dilemma that Lambo has is he cannot tell the difference between music from Mega Man X and F-Zero.
I can't.
But that's partly because you never played F-Zero as a kid.
And I don't know where I heard the theme, but I had to have somewhere.
Well, I mean,
I swear it's like when that kicks in, I see myself playing the Chill Penguin stage in Mega Man X.
it's a very similar sound.
Yeah.
It's a very similar sound. I mean, I can totally see the similarity, but keep in mind that Big Blue was also in Super Smash Bros. Melee.
And maybe that's where I heard it. Being a musician myself, I kind of had the opportunity to learn how a lot of old music was made. I've worked kind of with, because if you listen to some of our intro music and stuff like that, I use actual NES kind of sound fonts and files and things like that.
Very chiptune-y.
Very chiptune-y stuff. And so going and learning how the original stuff was made, it was crazy. So if you go back to the NES and the Commodore, you basically only had 3 tracks, and you could only have 3 sounds playing at once.
Okay.
And so that only made so much room for sound effects and only made so much room for other stuff. So game music makers were working with such little resources going back really, really far. So it's awesome to think about them being so creative and coming up with such cool stuff.
All right, so let me ask, for the people who don't know music that well, when you talk about tracks, like for music nowadays, how many tracks do you typically have in a song?
So let's take like Justin Bieber's "Sorry." We're not going to play it because I'm sorry. But if you take a song like that, we probably have oodles and oodles of vocal tracks. We've got oodles and oodles of background synthesizers, and you probably have. I mean, I need to look it up to make sure, because I know he works with a lot of producers, but he probably has a lot of hands in the songwriting that's not his. And so there's lots and lots of people working with lots of things. And so, 30, 40 to 100,
And on the NES and Commodore 64, there were
3.
And that wasn't just for music. That was for sound effects, too.
Right. So if they wanted to work in sound effects, they had to kind of put them on the same tracks as the music. But they stopped doing that in the Super Nintendo era.
What happened in the Super Nintendo era?
The Super Nintendo era, they kind of got dedicated things. So there was tracks that were usually set aside for music and tracks that were set aside for sound effects, so you could get more audio fidelity.
Okay.
And then that kind of went even further in the PlayStation era, where in the PlayStation era you now had CDs that could fit huge soundtracks.
A huge soundtrack. So if you look at like Final Fantasy VII, which was one of the first games to have a multi-million-dollar budget.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of that soundtrack, it's like orchestrated.
Yeah.
And it sounds beautiful, and it's something that video games in previous generations hadn't done.
Yeah. And it's still, that one still played with a lot of the MIDI music and stuff like that. It was still like electronic, but nonetheless it was still going in that more grandiose direction.
Right.
And more high fidelity.
It sounds like if you MIDI'd an orchestra.
Yeah, and nowadays there's no difference between that and a movie, pretty much.
Pretty much, especially when you've got video games with the budgets that big budget movies have.
I mean, Paul McCartney even made a song for Destiny.
He did. There's a music video. Go watch it. It's hilarious.
He played it when I saw him last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and behind Paul McCartney stood, videos of people flying around on their sparrows and stuff like that. It was bizarre. It was yeah. Yeah, but nonetheless, music has kind of in video games has kind of come a long way.
It has come a long way, and there's two big, I think there's 2 big kinds of soundtracks you find. There's the soundtrack where it's completely designed for that game, made for that game, orchestrated for that game. And I mentioned this to you before, but like Xenosaga 1 on the PS2, one of the selling points of that game was the fact that the original score was performed in game by the London Philharmonic Orchestra, which is crazy. But it's an original soundtrack done by a full orchestra. It's a PS2 game, and it's great. So you have all these original scores, but on the flip side, then you have things like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Grand Theft Auto, which don't really have their own original soundtracks.
No, but they are iconic. I mean, there's a few songs I know a lot of people know, like Worlds Collide by Power Man 5000.
I know that song because of that game.
And, The Offspring and a lot of bands kind of got a nice little boost from being on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Welcome to the Jungle in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people remember that.
And Low Rider.
Yeah. I mean, those songs didn't need the boost, but they're like forever associated with those games now.
Right, it is. And there's nothing wrong with using licensed games over making your own score, because if you pick the right licensed games that set the mood, especially for a game like that, it's great. And it works out really well. One of the things a lot of people really like about Grand Theft Auto, aside from just about everything else, is the soundtrack. Yeah. Because it's great music. Same with Tony Hawk. Pro Skater 1 and 2 had some amazing music to it that I loved. SSX was another one. SSX 3 on the PS2 had some amazing music that I loved playing.
Oh, yeah, and then Brutal Legend, which, awesome, just had like all this kind of classic metal on it. Dio and Judas Priest and stuff like that.
Sacred 2 had a Blind Guardian song in it.
Yeah, it did.
Performed by Blind Guardian somewhere in the game.
In the game, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a concert. But so it's great that they've moved on to this point, but I think that the important thing is video games, like, do we at Nerdstrodamus consider video games art?
We consider them art, to a certain extent, though.
To a certain extent, yeah.
Probably not a lot of the same ones that a lot of people would, Right. I mean, the game itself needs to be an art piece. Like the idea of playing it brings you joy and reveals beauty about the universe.
And it has to be immersive.
Yeah.
Because that's the joy of video games. And I think in order to be immersive, you've got to have the right soundtrack. Because I don't think a lot of people take this into account too much, is that soundtrack can really nail like the instance that you're in the game. It can set the mood, it can set the experience, it can totally change everything. So, I mean, if you don't have the right soundtrack, I think that ruins the game almost.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's hard not to think about my favorite moments in gaming ever, and then the music that kind of came alongside it. I will forever remember, and I think it was one of the first things we ever bonded over when we were young children, was Mega Man.
Oh, absolutely.
And in Mega Man X, your friend Zero is taken hostage.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Just, you know what? Heads up, spoilers if we talk about anything that ruins anything for you, and we're sorry.
And but Zero, you're about to get killed by Vile. He's in a giant mech, and he busts out and plays the Zero theme, which you only hear for the second time in the whole game.
Third.
Was it the third time?
Yeah, it's in the very beginning. It's right before you do the Sigma levels, and then it's in.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it still jumps in there like. It only plays a couple of times, and that's just like the coolest moment.
Oh my god!
It feels so good.
I'm getting goosebumps just talking about that. I love that moment, and it's like a lot of people who've never played it may think it's silly, but it's a defining moment in video games for us because we did bond over Mega Man X. Another one that does it for me is actually I didn't realize this till yesterday, but I put the Persona 4 soundtrack on my phone. I was listening to it while I was driving around yesterday, and Persona 4 has some amazing music because it's kind of jazzy, kind of rocky. It's beautiful, but the ending theme played for that game, and I felt sad, and the ending theme isn't a sad song. It's not. It actually sounds pretty upbeat, but it made me sad because it made me go back to the moment the game ended, and the ending to that game, spoilers, is the main character going back home, leaving all of his friends behind, and it's a really kind of sad moment. But listening to that song, like, it took me right back to that moment, and like I actually felt sad about it, and I was like, wow. That's kind of powerful.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, video game music can have this like lasting impression on people, and really make the game, which is why I find it really, really funny that you're the music guy, you understand music better than most people I know, and yet there's so many games I know that you've played with the music off.
It's because, like I said, music is kind of important to me. So during the probably late '64 era to the PS2 and maybe even a little after that era, I rarely played games with the sound on because I would listen to my own music. I'd listen to Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith, and
I think more people need to pay attention to the music that's playing and everything. Plus, if you pay attention to that music, it could be a tip-off as to what's to come next. Because when that heavy guitar kicks in, expect a boss fight.
Yeah,
it's coming up.
Somber stuff kicks in. Expect Aeris to die. Spoilers.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Some people don't know.
Yeah, they should know.
I mean, it's been, what, 20 years?
They need to know.
They need to know. But,
take all that material off before something bad happens.
We've been over this.
Yeah, I know.
We've been over this so much.
I know.
But, so, next time you're playing a video game, make sure you pay attention to the soundtrack. You might be pleasantly surprised. Especially with a lot of RPGs.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of your best soundtracks
We'll
come
probably
in.
link to a couple of our favorites down in the video, along with a lot of the stuff you heard in this episode. There's a lot of stuff to hear in this episode.
Hey, and if we didn't mention anything about your favorite soundtrack, or you think we skipped something, make sure to comment below. Talk about your favorite soundtrack. What's some music that you loved out of a video game, or a track that really brings you back? But for now, I'm Dr. Pants.
I'm Lambo.
Tune in next time. We'll see you then.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, click subscribe. Also check below for the links to our Facebook page, Twitter, and blog. Check back often. We'll be posting new videos weekly.